So if a brand new DLC for Grand Theft Auto Online's been released, and in this video I'm going to give my personal view and opinion about the DLC and an overall review based on what I think about the DLC. The DLC itself, there's a lot of content that's came out with it. Cars, missions, whole new property, business, whatever you want to call it. There's been some new exclusive content that's been released with GTA Plus as well. So it's not just for, obviously, the regular player base, but I'm going to give an overall view and my say on how I think the DLC is and an overall review. Now, from what I've seen in terms of online and GTA forums, people are giving mixed opinions on this DLC, which I can understand why. The main thing that I dislike about the DLC is the fact of you can only complete 3 vehicle robberies per week, instead of it sort of having the auto shop feel, where you can complete as many contracts as you want per week, obviously, without any limitations. Which I think's the biggest downside to this DLC. The whole concept of the robbery missions themselves are actually quite good. They're unique, they're different. They're sort of like mini heists that don't pay out as much as, your regular KO Perico heist and your Diamond Casino heists. But overall, I still do find them quite good and quite useful to do when you say, for example, you are on your KO Perico heist cooldown and Diamond Casino heist cooldown, which obviously are 48 minutes long. So I'm going to discuss briefly my opinions on the setups for these sort of mini heists and the actual car robberies themselves. With each of the car robberies, I believe there's 2 setups, and then obviously the mini in-game setups, similar to how they operate in the story mode aspect of the game. When you do the likes of the Dual Saw heist and the Union Depository heist, where you have to go around at certain times and steal certain things with like vehicles and equipment that can be used in the heist. I do think that's cool. It's kind of time consuming, which I think's what Rockstar was aiming to do with them, which I can understand. But for the payout, 300 grand, 200 grand, I don't really think it's all that worth it. The passive side of the business, in terms of, say, the tow truck side of it, I do think that's quite cool, it's quite useful. The tow truck missions are similar to how they work with Franklin and Tonya in story mode. I do think those missions are quite good, the tow truck ones at least, and they're not necessarily missions. They're more or less free roam activities. That's what I'm going to class them as. And I do think they are quite good. They're quite useful, especially if you're in between missions and you've got a few minutes where you're not doing anything. It's quite good. Now, I'm going to move on to discussing the vehicles. Most of them are quite good. I have upgraded about half of them. I've upgraded the muscle car convertible. I've forgotten the name. Is it the Vigero? I've upgraded that. It's quite good. I enjoy it. It's quite good for them in terms of speed for a muscle car. First of all, the new supercar with the Rockstar Games livery, the 25th anniversary one, that one's quite good. I've forgotten the name of that. Is it the car with the new drift ability? I feel like that has a lot of potential in terms of what Rockstar can do with it. But I do think they are just testing stuff out for GTA 6 at this point in terms of the whole DLC itself, because when going through the opening cutscene inside of the salvage yard, you can see one of the characters using, obviously, a phone to take a picture, and I feel like you've been testing the social media side of stuff with the cutscenes to see how they'll pan out and what Rockstar can actually do with them, obviously with GTA 6, because most of you have probably watched the GTA 6 trailer by this point. So you know that a majority of the minute-and-a-half trailer is obviously showing off the social media side of the game. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do with the DLC. That is pretty much all I have to cover about the DLC. The DLC itself is unique. Personally, I like it, but the only thing I dislike about the DLC is obviously the fact that you can only do the other car robbery contracts per week, instead of obviously as much as you want. I can sort of see this being incorporated into people's money-making methods. I can definitely see myself pouring it into my own one. Besides, I would say this DLC is quite solid in terms of the content that's been released. That's all there is for me to cover, so I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.